This is Back to Back.
Yo, what's up, back-to-backers? This is Willie Joy. Welcome to the show. This is Back to Back. This is my podcast. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well out there. I hope you had a good weekend. And I'm feeling great because today's episode was a really fun one to do. I've got Salva on the show. Such an incredible producer, such a versatile musician. He's one of those people, we've always gotten along, always had a good time together, but we just never cross paths. And so it was great to catch up, see where he's at. He's got a new song out right now called Circuit. It's awesome. I'm playing it on my SiriusXM radio show this week. And by the way, if you have Sirius, my show, Back to Back Radio, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific, and again Friday mornings during drive time on Channel 52. I make an hour-long mix every week, and if you listen to this show, you already know, man. I go all over the map. I've got so many great people sending me music. It's a lot of fun to put together. So check that out on Sirius if you've got it, and watch out for that new one, Circuit from Salva. I'll tell you more about my convo with him in just a minute, but before I do, this is a little bit more on a somber note, but I just wanted to say rest in peace to Keith Flint from The Prodigy. His death, man, last week, it hit me really hard. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I'd never met the guy. We didn't even really have any mutual connections, but The Prodigy, man, The Prodigy has been so influential to me. Their debut album called Experience, I mean, that is probably one of my biggest influences, period. That album just changed the way my brain works. And then moving forward, the Fat of the Land album, you know, where kind of everybody found out about them. Firestarter, Breathe, Smack My Bitch Up. I mean, that was when I was a teenager. Those were formative years. That was sort of the soundtrack to me growing up. And yeah, it's just crazy, man. He died too young. Details are still unclear as far as I know, but I think Liam from The Prodigy did imply he may have taken his own life. And you know, there's nothing more tragic than that. I got to see The Prodigy play a show probably about 10 years ago, and they were still crushing. I still remember that show. I'll never forget it. So, yeah, I don't have anything intelligent to say about it, but just that it makes me sad. Rest in peace to Keith Flint. My thoughts go out to his friends, his family, his bandmates. And, yeah, you don't always know when somebody is going through something tough. So, let's just try to check in with our friends, check in with our loved ones. There doesn't have to be a reason. It's never a bad time to just say, hey, how you doing? Been thinking about you. I'm trying to do that more myself, and I hope everyone out there will too. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that. If you have any thoughts about this or any experiences with The Prodigy, anything else you're wondering about that you want to talk about, you can always reach out to me at backtobackpod@gmail.com, or I'm at Willie Joy or at backtobackpod on all social media. And if you're enjoying the show, if you dig what we're doing over here at Back to Back, why not tell a friend? Help us spread the word of mouth. I love seeing people post up that they're listening to the show. You know, if you throw it in your story, if you make a tweet about it, a video, whatever you're feeling, I'll always repost those, reply to those. I love talking to everybody who's listening. And I really loved talking to Salva this week. I met up with him at his studio out in L.A. He called it his cockpit, and you'll hear us talk about that right at the start of the conversation. It was tiny, and it was full of gear. I mean, it really did feel like sitting in the cockpit of a plane. Literally every surface was covered with analog gear. It was actually a very cool vibe. It was intimate. We stretched out, man. This was a long conversation. And I've said this before, My favorite episodes of this show are the ones where you really just feel like you're sitting in a room hanging out with the person. And I think we achieved that on this episode. You know, Salva is extremely versatile. He's made all different kinds of music in his career, continues to do so. And I think his brain works in the same way, you know, topic to topic, unexpected twists and turns. It felt, you know, really loose, but really focused at the same time, if that makes sense. And we were smiling a lot during this one. And depending on your tastes, you could know Salva from a million different things. You might have first heard of him when the Mercy remix with RL Grime dropped. I think that was back in 2012. Man. And just set the internet on fire. The start of that trap wave. And if you're a techno head, you might know him from some of his more recent work. You know, he's getting super into analog gear, techno music, those methods of production. Or if you're a pop music fan, you might have seen him on a world tour with Shakira. He's managed by Rock Nation. You know, he's done writing for Rihanna and people like that. I mean, it boggles my mind how many different things that Salva's done and continues to do. We talked about all of it, and I just love him, man. This was great. He's got a new track out right now called Circuit. It's classic Salva, man. An awesome combination of styles and ideas. You know, acid techno, Baltimore and Jersey club, hip-hop. It's all in there. And I'm going to put a link in the description of this episode where you can go get all of his new music, his tour dates. Everything is going to be in the description of the show. So that being said, let's jump right into this. This was a fun one. I hope you enjoy it. This is me and Salva back to back. Let's go. This is fucking dope. This is like, the longer I'm in this space, I like this space a lot, actually. You called it a cockpit. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, it's like the little interstellar, transdimensional craft. That's what I'm like. Once I fill this whole back wall with modular, then we'll be ready.
Oh my God, man. Have you always been a gear head like that?
I've always loved gear, never to the extent of my latest modular Euro rack obsession, which is getting, I think, popular just around the globe in general.
It is.
Like,
you're seeing it everywhere. Even like the most EDM of EDM dudes I know,
That's great.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
Do it. Like it'll change the sound of the genres. So,
yeah,
you know.
I was just talking to somebody else about that. I forget who, but you know, we were talking about like EDM, whatever you want to call it. Sure. Like it gets a bad rap because people say, it's all this sort of like simple service music. It all sounds the same. And I don't think that's a really valid criticism. But one thing I will say is I think the reason a lot of people think that it sounds all the same is because so much of it is being made on the same tools and with the same hardware.
Yeah.
So like to me, anytime anyone steps out and whatever it is, grabs a piece of analog gear, works in a different DAW, whatever it is, like I'm so behind that because I think that's what's going to push it forward, you know?
I always had like one piece, like I never could afford the studio I wanted, you know what I mean? So, you know, I always kind of had one thing that like if I listen back to my old stuff, you know, that I could hear like, all right, like that's the Virus TI, that whole album, I was always using that, or like MPC, or you know, I got a Voyager. I played Moogfest maybe 4 or 5 years ago, like at the Fool's Gold stage.
Oh, that's so dope.
Got to tour the factory. They're like cool, like factory discount, like almost half off as an artist discount. I was like, now's my chance to get a Voyager. Got that, and then I was like, all right, like, yeah. So I started kind of getting addicted to it from there, you know.
It's kind of like tattoos, right? Like once you get one,
yeah.
And so I mean, full disclosure, I don't have any analog gear and I don't have any tattoos. Like,
don't start.
But
either.
That's the thing. I know if I started, it'd be game over.
That's what's up.
I had completely forgotten that you were from the Midwest originally. Like to me, you were such a I think of you and I think of LA. I think I've been
out in Cali for over a decade, so you know.
Yeah.
Like this is really. I mean, I honestly like.
Even your music, I feel like has like a Cali swag.
Yeah, for sure. That West Coast, especially all my rap stuff. You know, I always try to like, you know, my old school Peacemaker mixtape, Corrupt and E40. Like, I loved West Coast. Yeah. Growing up in Chicago, I feel like me and my friends all identified with West Coast. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
During the East Coast, West Coast,
Oh,
the great
yeah,
East
yeah,
versus
yeah.
West beef of
Right.
'97.
Tupac, Biggie, yeah.
So, but I always love Biggie and East. I always love everything, you know. But yeah, man, I love West. And then what drew me to San Francisco was turntablist culture. Qbert and the Gang, Turntable TV, Scratch Pickles, and then Shadow, Latyrix, and then Hieroglyphics and Della fucking Homo Sapien, and then like, you know, Mushroom Jazz, Deep House was here. Like I was like, the Bay. So the Bay was my first destination. I was like, I got to get out to the Bay.
Yeah.
And all the music, Hyphy, Mac Dre,
I mean, it's
was
crazy,
like everything
man.
was there, you know?
I had talked about this a surprising amount. Like the music culture in the Bay there's nothing else like it because they ride so hard for their own
100.
shit. Like somebody could be literally a celebrity only in the Bay, you know?
100%.
And I don't think that happens in a lot of other places.
No, I don't know what it is. They're loyal to my soil. Loyal to my soil.
Okay, so you're growing up in Chicago.
Yeah.
What part of the city did you live in? Because I mean, I lived there for 10 years. I love talking about Chicago.
Fullerton and Western, like basically like Bucktown they call it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a widely used
it's still
term.
Bucktown.
Okay,
Yeah.
So that was St. Hedwig's Catholic schools where I went to like first through fifth.
Oh,
we want
shit.
to
Okay.
really break it down to my personal education.
Were you a Catholic boy?
I was,
family?
yeah. Until I did hallucinogenics and lost my faith and like started raving, you know.
That's so funny. I mean, I feel like that's like sometimes that's when people find faith. Is when they do.
I think I did through all this, the whole life journey, man.
Yeah, it might be a little
in and out of the rave.
Well, it might be a little early to start talking about God, but
yeah, that's cool. Just get right into it. I tell you, I'm in the podcast. I'm just skipping right ahead.
No, it's good. I mean, we'll get there for sure. But I mean, what kind of a kid were you? Like growing up, you know, like late 90s in Chicago, were you a musical kid? Was music a big part of your life even early on?
No, I didn't. I unfortunately didn't get exposed to any formal music, so which may be a good thing, but like the first time I fell in love with music was like through B96, like Julian Jumpin' Perez and Bad Boy Bill, Late Night, right? And
legendary. That's for the listeners. Like, well, talk about B96 for a second.
Well, now it's pretty much just like a kind of a Kiss FM style station, right?
Yeah,
like
more or less.
Yeah, I mean it was a pop station back then, but like Late Nights was dance music, and it was everything from Latin freestyle music. I mean, I was like 9-10 years old only, right? So, and I mean, I was dubbing, I was recording the radio at that point still, so it shows my age, you know what I'm saying? So, it would be like, I think Wayne's World came out, so I was like, I like loved Bohemian Rhapsody and like weird, like Latin house music, Latin freestyle.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, when you're that young, I think that's such a great era. Like there's all this shit about Kanye now that he's saying a lot of questionable shit. But one thing he said a long time ago that I always thought was true was that he was always trying to be like a 5-year-old, you know, and that like just always
That's
that
tight.
pure intention, just
unbiased listening,
yeah,
or
just like
unbiased
you
art
either like something or you
appreciation.
you don't really understand the context of it. You just know if it's good or not.
See,
to
he
you.
still is like a 5-year-old though, like all around.
No,
you know
it's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I don't know, man.
I want to run a multi-million-dollar corporation.
Well, that's fine. It's some of them.
I want to run the United States.
Yeah, it's when we get to that point.
that part. For me, it's just like there's only so much time in a day. You know what I mean? And so it's like for me, I'd rather just see things I want to see and like hear things I want to hear. Like I don't have time to mess with that. That's the new me, and it's been kind of working out so far.
Yeah, man.
It's been helping my psyche and my positivity.
I was talking to a friend who told me he unfollowed. He's another DJ. Like he's in our world. He told me he unfollowed like everyone in our world, and he only follows like painters.
Yeah,
now.
same.
And
that's kind of me on like Instagram. It's like mainly like inspirational stuff like
that's
that.
so dope, man.
And that's not even people I don't support. And that's like, unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like I'll go support someone, I'll buy their merch, and maybe I don't follow them anymore.
Well,
but like, who knows?
That's
you know what I mean?
maybe more
I don't
real
take
support.
Dude, I mean, I got people always accuse me of having fakes because I think I got a lot of followers that have me on mute. Like, well, I toured with Shakira, so I bet I got like 15,000 Instagram followers that have me on mute.
I was going to ask you, did that do a lot for you?
I was getting like 1,000 followers a day.
Holy shit!
But like they don't like my pictures because they like if you look at my Shakira pictures, they got 5,000 likes. My other pictures have 500. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
interesting, man.
So I've done anyways, it's weird. But this is all just like I don't know. This is all might be boring.
No.
It's like all like the inner workings of like leading my daily life online and on these platforms.
Yeah,
which I've been like getting.
It's
it's like
important.
talk shit about social media a lot because I want to get off it, but like it's really just you just got to moderate it and use it to what you need it to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's even before we started recording, we were talking, man, that shit it's an addiction, and so it's like if you're going to engage with it, you have to understand you are going to get a little addicted. So
as society, we weren't. This is another thing. It's like 5 years ago, we weren't as generally aware of this. But that's the problem. Is like the executives knew, and they're coming under fire for it now. But like we didn't really, as a society, know. And now the kids, my nieces and nephews and cousins that are teenagers and in their early 20s, are fucking on this shit 24/7. They live on this shit.
It's a weird time, man. I mean, has it? Okay, so to bring it back to you, has it affected like social media, the pressures of it? Seeing what other people are doing, trying to curate your feed, like how has that affected your creative process?
That shit honestly crushed me, dude.
Really?
It did, yeah. Like because I didn't come from it. I didn't understand that I even needed to build a brand. Like I didn't understand any of that shit. Like I wasn't ready for it, and I didn't wake up to it in time, and so I was behind the ball. Like I missed a couple different opportunities to really like grow my brand online. I didn't do it, and then so that turned into like, oh shit, like you're not legit and you're not successful,
right?
And then it's like, okay, like I'm not like they always say like if you're not depressed, you can't be. Obviously, it's a cliche, like only depressed people are good artists or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to be depressed to make really authentic art, right? And like I can't work depressed, dude.
No.
Like I draw on my
That's
depressed
a lie,
times.
by the way. That's a total lie.
I can't. I can never work. Like if I'm truly depressed, like I can't paint a stroke, dude. I can't do anything.
I hate how romanticized that kind of idea gets, man. I think it's fake. I think even depressed people who are making cool art, I think they'd still make cool art if they weren't depressed. Yeah. In fact, it might be better.
Yeah. I've never known any of my friends who, a lot of my artistic friends are somewhat manic, like myself. I'm not off the deep end, but like, I have very high
I know some of those
peaks and valleys, right? So, and I don't know anybody that's like, when you're really down in it, like that you're like itching to get in the booth and fucking spit hot fire.
Hell no. No, it doesn't feel good, man. You feel like shit. It's
good to know. I think it's like good to know pain, like especially as a songwriter, as a emotive,
life
kind
experience in general.
And
especially if you've gone through something that other people maybe haven't gone through, you can speak from a unique perspective.
And drawing on those emotions is great, but like creating when you're in a good headspace is still essential. You got to be juiced up. Your serotonin's got to be high. Your energy's got to be good. Like or you're ODB and you're on fucking who knows what kind of drugs.
Well, right.
Rick James.
There's only one way that ends. If it's going the other way, it's not good, man.
Stay geeked up, leaned up. The new generation. That's
Xans and fentanyl.
I started phasing out of rap because. And I still love it, of course, and I'm definitely like, I'll never say I'm done with anything again because I've been through enough fucking cycles of my, we were talking earlier about our homies who have been in a happy hardcore and fucking
reinventing.
It's like, like I've seen enough, we've seen enough revolutions and cycles, and now like we were talking about, they're happening faster and faster. So, you know what I mean? Like,
internet's speeding everything up. Culture's going faster. Okay, so let's bring it back to where it started. Like back in Chicago, you're listening to B96, you're hearing these mixes. It's what, like freestyles? Are they playing juke stuff? Is it like regional?
No. Literally back then, all I remember was, this was like early. So it was like, because there was like a lot of like pop house crossover songs that I don't know how big they got. Like Wiggle It Just a Little Bit. You remember that song?
Yeah, I know that song.
That was like Chicago.
It's like the hip house days,
there was like, that was like big in Chicago, dude. Like that, like you, like cars rolling down the street. Just the same as like during that same era, like Miami bass, which is technically just like rap music, right? It was just Miami rap, but it was bass, and it was bass for cars, and then
certain rhythms.
That really didn't like, even though that was like related to the electro hip hop movement and came from 808 and came from all that, it all came from the same place, but it was like kind of its own thing, So it's like the Chicago And just like Latin, it's just subgenres, right? And sub scenes splitting off. Latin freestyle kind of came out of electro hip hop because that kind of came from Miami, but it was like heavy in Chicago. There's a lot of Puerto Rican and Mexican people in Chicago, you know, like.
So if you're dubbing tapes off the radio, it must have been speaking to you, right? I mean, what else were you doing as a kid? I mean,
I was just playing Castlevania and doing that, and riding my GT Performer, and like started fires, and like fucking being a pyro and like stealing shit from I was like a latchkey kid, man. So I had like young parents, so I was like they were working, and I was living in. That was when I moved to. I kind of migrated. I moved from Chicago to Skokie, Illinois suburbs. Just causing fucking havoc in the suburbs.
Were you
city kid in the suburbs.
Fires?
Yeah, no, I mean, like we were in like, you know what I mean, like arson. We were just like, like smoking a cigarette for the first time, like getting a lighter and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
No arsony or nothing like that.
And what did your parents do if they were busy working?
They didn't know. They didn't, you know, fucking latchkey kid. Like, it was kind of lower middle income. It was all apartment buildings, right? So it was all like maybe like 4-unit, kind of like same architecture as Chicago. It's like the kind of like, they're not Brookstones. Are they called Brookstones?
I mean,
like the duplex, triplex,
I know what you're talking about.
Brick buildings, you know?
Yeah. The brick buildings that aren't big enough to be like row houses, but it's like, 4 or 6 units to a building.
So you got blocks and blocks of four family units. So you got just a gang of fucking kids all just like running amok in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Before it was when you still could fucking play it. Like they would let your 8-year-old go play all night long and shit. You know, it was kind of before.
And I mean, was it a safe neighborhood?
It was
then?
though. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was fine. Like we were causing the trouble, you know. So it wasn't that bad.
They had to watch out for you. And so, I mean, how does that evolve? Like, what kind of scenes did you get involved with? You know, getting into like your teenage years.
So I like fell in love with like the DJ shit. I was like right away. I was like that. Like I want like, you know, I think it was, you know, just like those guys.
Just
and then
hearing
like
people DJ on the radio.
That just being aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I literally like was fortunate enough to like when I was like maybe 6 years old. Like there was people like with the cardboard out on the street like breakdancing and shit. Like I got to see that shit with my own eyes. You know what I mean? Like I missed, like I was too young for like hip hop. You know what I mean? I missed the advent of like when it was really like hip hop, right? So I was like second or third generation of that, but it was still going on, right? So I got to see all that shit. And so it just like in my consciousness, it was like, okay, these things like dancing and this and like house music and rapping and all this shit. And that was it. And so I pretty much
was
from there,
it common for other kids to like all the different stuff too? Like were other kids also into like house and freestyle and hip hop?
Yeah, we weren't at that time, we weren't conscious of that it was even different. It was just music.
Yeah.
That was like you were saying, you know, it was like that beautiful time when I didn't know what a genre was probably till I was like 13 or something, I guess. Right. I don't know. Like I mean, it was like, oh, I like rock music or I like fucking rap or I like, you know what I mean? Like
did you start performing in any way early on?
No, I didn't do anything till I was like 17 or 18, DJing and shit.
All right. So then what do teenage years look like? Are you still just kind of like...
Turntablism, that's when I was like, all right.
You were like...
I started...
At home, you were DJing.
Maybe at like 15 or whatever. Okay. Like I got like, we were like... So I, you know, whatever caught my interest in that shit, I was like, cool, like, oh shit, a sampler, like Yamaha SU, whatever, 700 or some shit, 8 seconds of sampling, like, okay. You know, just like picking up shit from garage sales, belt drive, turntables, whatever. Like I couldn't afford Techniques, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, the dream was like, oh shit, 2 Techniques turntables, and then it was like, you know...
Did you just want to fuck around with them? Were you trying to make beats? Like,
no, I just wanted to fuck with it. I just wanted it. I wanted to be about it. I had fucking pictures of rappers and DJs on the wall. Like, I wanted to fuck with
it. So you just
like,
wanted to be part of this culture you were kind of idolizing.
I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, that's it. And then someone gave me a turntable TV VHS, and I was like, fuck. And then so that was that, and it was everything from all that to like watching A-Track when A-Track was 15 or some shit.
When he won the DMCs.
Like going to Kubert's house cutting, and I'm like, holy fuck. And then like Craze DMC 98, and then I was like, yeah, this.
So you were like a scratch guy first.
For sure. That's like probably the first formal thing I was like really identifying as.
Sure, or like the first scene you really participated in.
I think so, man. Like really, I mean, that and just like hip hop in general, just like, turntablism, and like homies were, you know, we were, like I said, we were second, third generation, but like we were listening to like Souls of Mischief and you know, it was like maybe 98, 99, everybody was on Tupac and Biggie, which I was too, of course, and like Bone Thugs and shit, and I like, you know, I liked fucking hood rap, Dayton Family, like they're all the regional shit. Dayton Family, Crucial Conflict, Obviously, Twista, Speed Not Mobsters.
Yeah.
Do or Die was my favorite shit.
Chicago is
that
another
was the
one.
shit.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
the Chicago regional hip hop scene, it was strong then, and it's still strong now to a certain extent.
Sure.
Like, people do ride for that. Yeah, that's interesting, man. So did you start?
It's like all of it. I always liked all of it, and I always fucking like in school. I was always friends with everybody, and I'm still like that
Really?
today. And I try to like fight that through the years. Like, nah, I'm just gonna be like this genre and this thing, and or I'm gonna be this, and I just fucking like all of it. And I know it's like everybody cliche, like what kind of music do you like? I like everything. You know what I'm saying? But I like truly like.
But I think you embody that. Like,
I try to make it all, dude. But
That's
you know,
what I'm
for
saying.
better or for worse, man. You know what I mean? I think talking about like missed marketing opportunities
Yeah.
and shit. You know, I just like didn't captivate. I think I've done a lot of cool shit that no one even fucking knows happened
that's
because of the
probably
last few
true.
years too, just because of how things work. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we'll talk about that. So, I mean, you've been Salva, and like
Yeah.
Salva has been the project the whole time. And, you know, I wonder about that because for me too, like with my artist project, like I've made a lot of different stuff over the years. It's all under my own name.
Sure.
I've had people tell me, you know, start a side project for it or whatever. Did you ever think about doing that? Like just starting a different project for a different sound?
I wanted to do a few years ago, and you know, kind of my crew and people were like, nah, just like you know, it's always going back and I've always gone back and forth with it.
Yeah.
But now, not because of any monetary, financial, marketing reasons, but simply for the craft, because I realized I played with Luke Vibert this weekend at Jubilee's party in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
God damn, techno legend.
He played the fucking side room all night, so it was like me and Jubilee and Flava D. It was great. It was at Elsewhere. It was so
crazy.
fucking fun,
I
and
haven't
it was
thought
dope.
about Luke Vibert in
Bruh.
probably 10 years.
Yo, like I went in there and it was almost like too much for me to handle because I was like, because he was like, I don't know what he had. He had a laptop and basically like a vertical like rack of gear with
Okay.
him. So I don't know what he was exactly. I couldn't even tell because it was
Yeah.
just fucking assault, and it was fucking dope,
Wow.
man. It was great. But, you know, looking at those kind of legends, like he has all different aliases.
Right.
Or you look at Paul Wolford in Special Request, or
Sure.
you look at Matthew Deere was also a radio boy, or was also, you know,
Oh,
I
there's
think
so many of
I
them,
think
man.
there's I've realized I think there's like a craft and beauty to the alias, and as much as it may be, you know, in one aspect it's like, oh, does that water down this or that? I don't know, man. That whole shit's an art form to me, honestly. Like taking on the artist persona, that's what.
Right.
My last name is Salva, so it's like, you know what I'm saying?
My
Like,
last name is Joy, man.
yeah, so it's like
I
for
feel you.
me, I missed I was always envious of like Flying Lotus because he gets to be this mysterious entity.
Yeah, I think
you know
about
what I'm
that,
saying?
too.
And it fucking works, and it's dope, and you paint. But I'm like, I've done that with my name in a way too. I obviously like try to paint myself in a fucking cool light online.
course,
Like
of
who
course.
does it? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But, like,
Salva's a cool name.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't choose it. I kind of did though. But you know, like anyways, like but I think for more so, like I said, for like, you know, I want to make a fucking, like, I have the recordings, like I want to do real noise, IDM, fucking cool,
Okay.
just shit that like just dope ass shit, no boundaries, no fucking whatever. And I've recorded a lot of shit, and I think it would be better suited as an alias, and I'll still market it under my shit. But like, yo, this is this project for like the ultra heads that,
Right.
you know, and like,
Right.
you know, this is a big thing about play counts and a lot of this shit, right? Is like, you can have, if you're in the drone techno or noise, you know, modular noise scene, right?
Yeah.
And
Which is a scene.
which is a scene, and like where I find that is like boomcat.com type shit, you know, like
I
you have to,
remember
like,
Boomcat,
yeah, you
yeah.
have to go to like distributors or like different, like I don't even know, like you know, Tumblr's been scrubbed, everything's fucking like you know, like I don't know really where to go discover music right now, you know.
Yeah, it's a little tough right now. So how were you discovering it back then? I mean, if we're talking about like late teen
So I worked in
years.
record. So one thing that sews through all this shit is I worked in record stores always.
Yeah.
So that was how I stayed.
Even as like a teenager?
My first record store job, I moved to Miami when I was 19. I like dropped out of college and
Okay.
fucking moved to Miami.
Okay.
I was gonna go to Full Sail, and then I met a homie named Jasp182, who's a breakbeat artist who hasn't released music in like 20 years.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, personal friends, and he was like, yo, just like go to Miami-Dade Community College. Like someone donated him money. They got a full studio, and it's like basically free to go there.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, Full Sail was expensive, you know?
Yeah, so in Full Sail, you know, that was like the first, I think it probably was like the first major like electronic production
For sure.
school back in the
For
day.
sure. So, yeah.
I remember hearing about that.
So I was like going to business my dad wanted me to he's like, just get an MBA, you can do anything you want with it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, I'll fucking do that. I was into computers and all kinds of shit, right?
Do you have any idea of what you actually wanted to do at that time?
No, because all the music shit was a hobby. I never even considered it as a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know you could make money fucking doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really it didn't cross my mind.
None of us
That's
did.
the beauty of fucking being 19 too. Like, it's fucking great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
because you're not even worried about
as much
that,
as much as I was so fucking confused and scared by life, and looking back and also at the same time thought I fucking knew everything.
Well, that's
and
the thing.
it's
Being
like
that
funny
age, I
fucking
mean, it
thing.
allows you to make these incredibly crazy, stupid decisions that you look back on and you're like, that was the dumbest thing. But at the time, you're not even, you can't even understand the consequences, you know? Like, we all go through that period, I think.
100.
Yeah, and not everybody comes out of it, smelling like roses, but it's a valuable time, I think, for anyone. Like, you learn a lot in those periods.
Just fucking come out of it alive, yo. Like, just don't fucking hurt yourself or anody else and try, otherwise, like, make some mistakes. It's all good.
So is that what you did? Like, you started going to the community college?
I did, and then I got the homie hooked me up at the record store, which was Groove Man Records on Miami Beach, which I don't believe is there anymore. And unfortunately, my boss there, who was a legend in Florida rave, Bruce Wilcox, he like brought people like, early 90s. He unfortunately passed away, suicide. And I think the store kind of went down. Oh, really, it was 9/11. 9/11 crushed fucking Miami Beach tourism for a good 6 months.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I was on the beach working there.
If you were there,
yeah. I mean, from my perspective, the nightclubs changed ownership every 6 months anyways on the beach, because it was like,
it's a weird culture down there.
Yeah. Like,
what was it like at the time? I mean,
that was 2000. Yeah, it was 2000 in Miami.
Have you seen a change in Miami?
Oh, big time. It was ebb and flow, man. Now I'm seeing in New York again. It's fucking great, because the vibe in Brooklyn this weekend, I was like, old Brooklyn again.
Oh,
it was
really?
Like,
it felt like old times?
Yeah, it was literally, there was like no tech bros. No offense to any tech bros. I love y'all. There was no tech bros in the club. It was fucking diverse, gay, straight, black, white, every punkers, goth kids. It was fucking dope. I was like, yeah, like Brooklyn, here we go.
So for Miami, what was it like back then versus what it sort of became for you?
Well, now it's like, Wynwood is cracking, and the fucking Latin music is fucking cracking again, and also like Floyd in space. You get like go hear techno in downtown. You know what I'm saying? Like downtown wasn't built up at all when I lived there. Like the downtown like community. Like I think space was there.
Yeah, downtown. I mean, it's still kind of rough, but it used to be super rough.
Yeah,
right?
like you couldn't walk through there. You know what I'm saying? So like. And everything was on the beach, and trance was huge in 2000. So George Acosta bought the record store I worked at.
Yeah.
And he did Planet Soul back in the day. Welcome to my Planet Soul. And then he became like a big, huge trance DJ.
And it was like a big celebrity culture out there too, right?
Yeah.
Around that time?
It was like, I mean, it was like, that was right when, I like would see fucking... That was like when Khaled was coming up, because he was on the radio, and I would see Khaled all the time. He would be DJing all over the beach with like, I'd see him at 7-Eleven getting fucking backwoods or whatever the fuck with fucking Irv Gotti and fucking Ja Rule and shit.
There you go.
And
yeah,
like,
I mean,
R. Kelly,
even on the dance side, I remember I talked to Cedric Gervais.
I worked with him. He worked there too, or he was. I don't know if he worked there. He might have became a buyer, but he probably won't even remember me, because it was literally so long ago, and I wasn't even like a DJ yet, right? But he was always fucking in he was like just starting out. I think he like just moved over and was just starting out.
That's what I'm saying. He was saying like,
literally,
he would just
same
like,
shit,
he was saying all the pop stars like Christina Aguilera would like come dance till 10 in the morning.
See, he was already like, since he did, I think it was probably like progressive house back then, quote unquote. I don't know, like what to call it now. But he was like already like, he was doing that, right? My shit was, I tried to throw, we called it the first Electro weekly on Miami Beach.
Really?
I don't know if it really was or not, but I was like really like, so I was there. I was like the hip hop and experimental buyer at that record store.
Interesting.
And so I had a couple other homies, DJ Rec, Ash Rock, a couple of these guys that were all like, they were kind of OG in Miami-based electro. And they fucking put me on vinyl. Shit I can't find on MP3 anymore, that I don't have the wax for anymore.
No.
That fucking half the shit, I don't even remember the name for half the records. I fucking sold I had the fucking ill electro shit. I sold it all over the years. Just like getting in a spot or whatever.
Damn.
Like, it's like long gone at this point. But like, it was like they put me on, and I fell in love with that shit, dude. Like I was like, because it was everything I loved. It was a break beat, and it was fucking, but it was still techno, but it was like,
still a lot of bass.
Yeah, I mean, I met a homie. Actually, the kid, the kid on Twitter who suggested that I come on, he was at my show the other day. And he didn't know about the first round of Electro, like actual Electro, like, you know,
right.
anyone under 25.
We should actually define this, because I think a lot of people might not know. So when you're saying, you know, Miami Electro back in like the early 2000s, like define what you're talking about there.
So like for me, what I consider proper Electro is derivative from, you know, everything's kind of coming from Kraftwerk, right? So it was like Kraftwerk into Bambaataa and into fucking Planet Rock in New York electro hip hop, right? Yep. And then that beat is what went down to Miami, and they just kind of, you know, that's Two Live Crew, that's fucking, even the Latin freestyle, Pretty Tony, all that shit is derivative kind of from it's basically the 808 breakbeat.
Yeah.
Right?
That like
so electro, you know, is like, from Kraftwerk, it stayed like proper German electro. It stays in the vein of techno, where like electro hip hop and Miami bass goes more urban. And so, you know, when I speak of classic electro, proper electro, it's more it's that unlike what most young people know.
Electro,
blog house, electro house, quote unquote. A lot of those genres that were kind of
came along in
2010s kind of.
Yeah, 20
and on until today, Complextro and all these fucking things I'm finding.
Yeah, Zed and all those guys. I mean, it's funny how those words get reused. I mean, it's even
that shit's trance. So like to me, it's like that's progressive house and trance. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that like I would consider Zed like his earlier. Now it's, you know, pop kind of whatever, but like, you know, his early shit. I like, to me that's that's progressive house and trance. Like that's, you know, like that's really what that is. It's not electro. That's you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's the thing is, man, once something gets the
what
label,
are you gonna do?
like
same with Future Bass. Future Bass to me is Ramadan Man and fucking Salvas and fucking, you know what I'm saying? And fucking Pinch and all these Scuba before he went techno, and like Future Bass was post dubstep,
right? It's
broken beat techno, which now people call that shit like you know, Untold and all that shit. That, like that, to me, that's like Future Bass. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
interesting.
And to anyone under 25, it's like, nah, it's fucking Chainsmokers and all the other, you know, the new version.
Well,
you know?
and we'll get to this. We'll talk about this, but the one example I wanted to give is like trap music, right?
Trap,
like
shit.
You know, like trap for the dance music scene does not mean what trap used to mean to a lot of people.
I'm afraid to look in like our Reddit subreddit trap, because I feel like anything I do, they probably trash, because they probably want Trap Salva.
I think they love you, man. I think they love you. They're going to be stoked about this one. Shout out to our Trap, man.
Our Trap. Our electronic.
Yeah.
on my subreddits.
Okay, so you're out there, you're working at record stores, getting exposed to like a new culture, right?
Shit, everything.
I mean, you learn a lot
techno
when
for the first time. Like, I was fucking super blessed. There's this DJ Eddie X who's like super gay house legend, circuit house. I was literally going to fucking white parties. I don't know what a white party was. It was all dudes in towels and fucking. So it was like, but it was dope for me because I was straight, and there was like models there because they were like safe there. So I was like, this is fucking lit. So it's like my broy jock friends would be like, are you fucking serious? You go to that fucking shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So like, gay culture in general, I didn't fucking know about what the fuck it was. Like Miami, that was a great primer in like, oh fuck, like massive long living culture out here that like
this has been going on,
and motherfuckers still to this day don't know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Well, so that's why a lot of people are fucking ignorant to it, because it's like, yo, like fucking like a lot of people, and it's like real life, yo, and like this is what it is, and it's actually has a lot to do with my craft and my love of rave music and all that shit.
Music.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
so
dance music came out of minority, like minority culture.
Warehouse parties in Chicago and in New York and Detroit, right?
100%, man. Yeah, it's
safe
crazy.
Space, right?
Safe space, absolutely, man.
But yeah, so like that was probably like my fucking like culture master class, my first one, like living in Miami and working on the beach and fucking.
And
going
did you start DJing around there?
I did, yeah. Like I started doing my first shows ever
in public. Yeah.
I helped throw a party with my homies from Schematic Records, who I got like. I was really close with Salim Rafiq, and he knew there was a group called Soul Oddity who became Phoenicia. Do you know about them or no?
No, I don't.
Oh man. Right after, like Soul Oddity was on Astroworks.
Okay.
So they were on Astroworks, which was a huge label at the time. There was only a few like kind of crossover. There was that, and there was like, fuck, dude, I don't remember at that. It eludes me, but there was a few kind of like crossover major, you know, distribution, like people that had major distribution deals, and Astroworks was one of them, right? They put out Chemical Brothers.
Oh, I mean, Astroworks, I know they were huge.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, Soul Oddity. super spacey electro, but with the Miami fusion, and they did the whole record that birthed Otto von Schirach, them.
Okay.
Prefuse 73 did an Alias on there. So there was so in 2000 Miami was like this Miami IDM scene, and was the Miami drum and bass scene. So I got fucking everything. That was my, so I fucking dropped out of college. Like that was my fucking college, bro.
Man,
I was like soaking all that in, and it was fucking beautiful, dude.
And
like,
what's really interesting to me about you, and I think what I'm figuring out as we talk, is like it sounds like you liked all of it equally.
I did.
Right?
I did.
Like it, and that's what's crazy to me, because I feel like most people will end up like finding the one thing that's like their favorite, and they stick to that.
I feel I was conflicted, like, and I feel like maybe I still am, and like I'm conflicted because I get just as like I could be like, yo, like you need to make hip hop derivative music of whatever trap, whatever you want to call it. Like make some hip hop tempo shit for the fucking fans. Go DJ, go fucking run that circuit. Like E-Prom, all these guys, all the homies. Like that's like the circuit.
Yeah.
And I want to get back into that. I want to play live in that shit though. You know what I'm saying? I want to do fucking hardcore modular bass, and like you want to do hard shit. Like let's do some fucking big beats live. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like I hear a fucking house joint, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I'll hear like Chris Lake or somebody, and I'll be like, this is so fucking hard, dude. You know? Or I'll hear Randomer and fucking or some fucking.
Well, I saw you were in the studio with Lil Texas the other day.
I'm like, as soon as we circle back around, like I'll definitely making some shit for him. Pop off the hardcore alien. I love what he's doing. You know, it's fucking fresh, refreshing, and fucking. I can't wait to see him DJ because he's got the fucking flip skills and shit.
Yeah, I know. He's cutting it up, chopping it up. It's crazy.
But I just fucking love everything. And I think that he is the same way, bro. Like, there's a lot of us, like, contemporaries. Like, I think there's a lot of people in their 30s. Like, they fucking got exposed to a lot of different shit and fell in love with other shit later, too. And it's really all, like, dude, the different... Like, explain to a layperson the difference between house and techno. Like, it'll take them a long time to grasp that, I think. Like, like a deep techno song versus a deep house song.
It's
like,
really hard to explain,
because it's minute, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like the
you kind of have to be in the culture to really.
And honestly,
get the
it could have the same fucking sounds.
Oh yeah,
it has the same drum machines and the same exact chords and the same fucking everything. Yeah. So it's like
it's a vibe, it's an attitude. It's hard to define.
A sequence, a fucking, you know what I mean? So it's like, so it's all really not that fucking different.
So maybe that's it. Maybe it's all. For you, the same shit, right?
It is, though.
And
really.
You like it the same way, which I actually relate strongly to that, because for me, all the music I've like, not just electronic music, but like, you know, I love metal music, I love rap music. It all...
I compartmentalize those, like electronic...
See, I don't.
Oh, crazy.
It's like, it all for me scratches the same itch in my brain, like it activates whatever the same area.
I like it all the same, but I have since compartmentalized my pop music, for instance. Like if I'm in pop mode, like...
Right.
I'm honestly probably not using any of this gear right
well,
here.
right,
like,
and
I'm
that's for work too, right? Like that's another thing. When money gets involved, when it's a product, of course I can tell the difference and like act accordingly. So how do you go from like DJing, throwing shows with your friends, working at the record store in Miami? When do you move to the West Coast? How does that come about?
I migrated back to the Midwest. My wife is from Milwaukee, so I was like living there for a couple years, and then I was like, cool, this is... And actually... Fuck, man, I made, even there where, you know, not a major market at that time, I made, you know, some best friends and very important, you know, I have a lot of mentors that didn't want to be my mentor kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like,
who?
So like... This guy is his name's Jay Todd. He had a group called Def Harmonic, and it was underground hip. Like we played downstairs at Smart Bar before the Function One was in there. Type shit. Like we were doing hip hop shows down there. So this is during like
Chicago.
This is during like. So I mean, talk about fucking going outside. Like my shit was, I was performing. I had like an anti-pop consortium-esque rap group with my best friend now.
You were rapping?
I was rapping and pressing fucking buttons and doing all kinds of shit. Like, you could find me rapping on a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't want people to look at that. Yeah, low-key. But I was doing all that, and I was producing. I produced an album for a Kansas City MC called Approach, and it had Mac Lethal and POS on there, like rhyme sayer shit. So I was like already kind of like seeping my way into shit. I think I had my first production credit ever was on a Dave Tipper Electro and Breaks Fuel Volume 2 or something vinyl in like 2000. I did some electro. So I was like really like maybe like one release a year I had something, and the next release I did one more thing, and then the next maybe like 2 or 3 things, and the next year I had like 5 things I did.
But
you know
this
what
wasn't
I mean?
all
Like,
under
it was hella
Salva
early.
already, right?
No.
Yeah.
Like, so this was like, Salva started in Milwaukee. Like, there's,
Okay.
but it's like honestly like vinyl release, like shit that probably I don't even know if like I'm gonna look it up, like see if shit's online and go down
That's
memory lane a little
interesting.
bit. Yeah, experimenting with all that shit and the stage and scratching and fucking, like fuck,
doing everything.
I was a scratch DJ in like a fucking Incubus type band in high school.
Oh,
I forget,
sick.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like that, all kinds of shit. Like it's fucking, I don't know, boring to people, but
Well,
it's
no,
like,
I mean, I guess I'm curious, like in all of this, once you've moved around, you're like in the scene, you've actually put out some records, done production for people. Are you looking at it as a career at that
no,
point?
still not. Like I just didn't even consider it yet. I still didn't until I think it was like I was living in San Francisco. I worked at a tech company.
Doing what?
I started as just a fucking temp and worked my way up to like supervisor and like sales operations and shit. And was working with like the CFO and the CEO and fucking DJing at night. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking know. Like, doing what the fuck I had to do, just hustling, making money and fucking,
Of course.
put my brain to use, right? And fucking, man, I went to I went back to school at night simply for theory. I took like three semesters of theory, jazz theory. I took keyboard. I took just all, like, I think I finished every music elective you could take at like San Francisco Community College over like 3 years at night.
That's so dope for somebody who didn't have any music education at the start.
I was dying because I couldn't put 2 samples together. I couldn't figure out what the fuck to, you know what I mean? Like,
how to put something in key.
Dude,
Yeah.
there was a big disconnect for me and I couldn't take it anymore. So,
but that's kind of amazing that you did that just for the love of it. Like, not even because you felt like it would help your career.
I legit
right?
needed the knowledge.
Yeah.
I like literally needed it. And then, so that's when I wrote my first album that I got notoriety, 2011, Complex Housing on Friends of Friends Music, which is where Shlomo was on and all that.
Right, yeah. And I mean,
From LA.
still, and Friends of Friends is still around. They're
I
still
think
doing
they're
it.
like relaunching and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And, they were instrumental in the start of like RL Grime
and Lol Boys.
Yeah,
Jerome
Lol
Long,
Boys.
DJ
Yep.
DS.
Yep.
What turned into that? But
what
yes,
turned into DJ Dodger
but,
Stadium later on.
Yeah, so like the Complex Housing was, I literally was taking fucking jazz class. People are like, you got to make music like that again. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I was literally like practicing jazz piano every day during that time. Like, I don't do that anymore. It's like, I listen back, I'm like, I genuinely like, I know I could make things like that, but you know what I mean? It's like, people don't understand, like, there's like place and time, and like, I don't know, man, like sometimes you can't recreate what you were on. Like, sometimes I listen to music, I hear songs I forgot about, and like, I'm like, holy fuck, like I barely remember making that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I feel the same way, man. And I don't think you should feel like you have to recreate old
it's like Jay-Z,
shit.
like Make Reasonable Doubt. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you can't.
Well,
like
yeah.
you can't
Well,
you
it
can't
didn't
go
even-
back in fucking time.
Jay-Z
and if
had
you
a bar
try,
about
you'll
that.
fail.
I mean, that's interesting. You made a whole album. How did you even how did the label reach out? Like, how did it happen? In 2011, at the start of your career, you made an album.
Well, so funny. Yeah, see, I'm like skipping forward and back because I'm fucking like my memories forgot to mention I was running a label in San Francisco called Fright Night. So we had like 20 something releases.
Before the album, you were running the label.
Before Friends of Friends. So actually, I started that in 2008.
Okay.
And I never formally put out an EPROM record, but I booked him on every fucking show. I was always like intimidated, but like now he's the bro. But like early on, it was like he was the god, and I was like, fuck, this dude like serve me. So like,
but you were early on him, yeah.
Yeah, and like that whole scene. So it was like we were all doing hip hop versus electronic. You know what I'm saying? I think there was a lot of DJ. I mean, even during Mashup. I mean, fuck Mashup era, bro. Like that kicked off a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I took that as like I was fusing the nasty. I think I was literally putting like Aw-Tecker, because I was like in the IDM show, I was putting Aw-Tecker with acapellas and shit. And there, you know what I mean? Like, Aphex Twin, like mixing anything I could, like when, I still even think that might even been pre-Ableton for me, but like just the advent of being able to like time stretch shit or like being able to like take acapellas and change the tempo of them to match it to
it was
you know
revolutionary
what I mean? Like,
at the time, man. And I think Mashup Culture is the first time in my lifetime, it's probably happened before that I just don't know about, but first time in my lifetime where like hybridizing culture was accepted by the mainstream. That was really exciting to me. Like putting two things that shouldn't fit together, where it was cool to mix underground and mainstream culture. and like have it accepted in a mainstream way. In my lifetime, that's the first time I can remember that being cool.
For sure.
And that was mind-blowing to me because
that's a paradigm shift, man. That's
Right.
a whole fucking sub multiverse now. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole new fucking
and everything
universe.
you've been talking about so far, this is all underground culture, what you had been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same for me. I was into weird underground dance music that is now sort of mainstream, but I never thought at the time it would become mainstream. And Mashups, that era to me was the first time where I sort of could see maybe there is a way to connect the weird shit that I like with sort of the more traditional things that other people like. And
For sure.
that was really exciting to me.
I mean, the standout was Hollertronics, Drop It Like It's Hot versus The Cure.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
that
yes.
that was a one, right?
That was
like the vinyl, right?
That was one of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
to
the
me, I was like,
Hollertronics era.
Fuck, yeah, like, Hollerboard and shit.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, all of that. That's probably where you and I first started talking.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I mean, I give all credit to Diplo and Low Budget, man. Like, there were a lot of people doing it, but they were the ones that really got it. Like, their mashups, their mixtapes, the whole thing. Like
Early Floss.
Yeah,
early
absolutely.
Floss too, like four turntable Flossadamus DJ set with the fucking like I don't know if they
when
know.
I was in
from back
Chicago
then.
at that time, like that's when I was just coming up. So like I was watching all that firsthand. That was super inspirational to me.
One of my childhood best friends from Skokie, Jarrett, I think he lived with Kurt in Chicago during like that early time. So he was like, "Nah, dude, like Flossadamus 4 turntable set, like Fleetwood Mac versus like, dude."
They were on
no,
some
I remember
shit.
it was like the homie go to the party and it's like, "Yo, they fucking dropped Fleetwood Mac's Sweet Little Lies," and the place went off, and it was like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, man. I mean, the excitement in those rooms, I still remember that, man.
That's the shit,
It was
bro.
magic.
I love that shit.
It was magic.
But that was dope because I was like, that was digger culture too. It's like, oh, you got this fire George Michael fucking Faith like B-side that like, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it was. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
exactly right, man. There was so many different, again, it's like, it was all these different influences put into one thing. And that was really exciting. And so for you, I mean, you have the label in San Fran, and
we
then
had that shit. We're getting I put out B Bravo, who's a dope electronic funk artist, and that was like, I think he got on like Benji B's Best of the Year that year, and like that got him into Red Bull Music Academy, and like, I got into Red Bull Music Academy. Was fucking huge for me in 2011.
Right, so that's where I was going with this. Is like, did you put out the album and then go to Red Bull Music Academy?
I put out the album. Album came out when I moved to LA. Got into Red Bull Music Academy shortly after that.
Okay.
And that pretty much, and then I think Mercy Remix came out that summer, and then like I toured a lot off that. Yeah.
That's a lot. So when the album came out, did it do well? Like
it did, man. I think like
for what it was at the time.
Dude, I got to go to, for the first time I toured internationally. I got in Pitchfork. Like I got a decent review in Pitchfork. So that was like a lot back then.
It could be a career.
Well, then it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. When album came out, and that was the first time I ever like got a press run and got PR and fucking all that shit. And I was like, okay. Like,
did the label set that up?
Yeah, like Friends of Friends was kind of like doing a lot of that in house and stuff, and it was great. It was a great synergistic time. Met Shlomo, got close with him. Ground is Lava. Those are the bros. That's how I met R.L. Grime.
Right.
R.L. Grime was fucking. I still got the flyer somewhere. Like R.L. Grime opening for me and Shlomo at Webster Hall, like his first show ever. Like he was doing
R.L.
Clockwork.
Grime,
he was doing Clockwork, and like this was his first R.L. Grime show.
Yeah, well, people forget R.L. Grime was a side project for him. Like that was an alias. To take it back to what
the
we were
last
saying.
time I headlined over that motherfucker. God damn it.
Yeah, you got to hold on to that one, man.
It's all good, yeah. I'm afraid that bitch.
So talk about Red Bull Music Academy, man. I've talked to a couple other people who have gone in various years, and pretty much everybody has only had really positive things to say.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
I applied a couple years. I never got in, but it always just seemed like the coolest.
I think it got just really blown out. Lots of people wanted to go.
Oh,
I think you know what I mean? I think I got lucky just to get in. And the year I went was like literally star-studded, actually. Like I think that was also the last year where I think they stopped, like if you had a rep, I think they stopped. You know what I mean? Like,
so who else was there?
Well, it was
when
like
you were there?
My session, it was like me, Triple XY, Dr. Nika, Nick Hook, Jesse Boykin. These are all participants, you know what I'm saying? Nightwave, Nguzu, Bren Mar, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like all the dope underground DJs at that time that were like doing various cutting edge, all blending genres in their own fucking way. You know, that was during like Fade to Mine was big and shit. And so that was fucking great.
Who was there? Like,
dude,
who did they bring in for like industry people?
Super blessing. Like for me, like life changing. Fucking Bootsy Collins. I literally like.
Oh wow.
had barbecue with fucking Bootsy Collins and like hung out with them and like danced with fucking Bootsy to Dr. Dre and fucking like was in the studio. Trevor Horn, legendary producer of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Seal, Madonna, and most importantly in my book, Moments in Love, Art of Noise. That's his group, Art of Noise.
Okay,
so like literally the dude from Art of Noise had his fucking multi-tracks on the SSL board in there. It's like legend, like they like spoiled dudes, like such a fucking blessing. RZA.
Oh, RZA. Damn.
Fucking the RZA, bro. Like it was like Nile Rodgers before Nile Rodgers before his like comeback.
Yeah,
so it was like,
his, like,
you know what I'm saying? Before Daft
reinvention.
Punk like Get Lucky and shit. So it was like rare as fuck to see him even, you know what I'm saying? I got to see like him and Chic play live like right when they started touring again. I think he was like beating cancer at the time and shit, like, but just all these legendary that fucking blew my and I think I was 29 at the time. I was already older, like that shit blew my fucking mind. Like that changed everything for me, dude. I was like, holy fuck.
Where in the world was
that was Madrid.
It was in Madrid.
Yeah, so that was like, that whole thing was life changing, and you know, I'm still best friends with Nick Hook. Like we went through this, you know, I think he was like my age, he's like around my age, so it's like we were older at the time too, and like the younger kids in the group were like they couldn't even, like, it was like everyone was crying at the end and shit. It was super fucking emotional, dude.
What did you learn from those people, like being around them?
I literally made all my best friends there, dude. Like Robin Hannibal, who's he's at the top of my list, best musicians ever, and like most of my big pop productions are all with him. Like I met him there. I was in his
with who?
His name's Robin Hannibal.
Okay.
He's
I don't know him.
He's got a band named Rye, which is really big. Kind of sounds like Sade. He was sampled by Kendrick for "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe."
Oh wow!
So he got his big like break into Hollywood through that, and he has since worked with everyone from Pharrell to like he actually the Pharrell and Calvin Harris song and Young Thug was Robin's song.
Oh wow!
So he's ended up being a big fucking writer. Still a very close friend and collaborator of mine.
Yeah.
I attribute all my the last chapter of my music. Fuck, man, I'm just realizing how like extensive, how much shit I've fucking done. It's like making me nauseous even talking about it.
There's so much to cover, and I want to
the pop world. But he was there at Red Bull.
When I want to be clear,
yeah.
when you say like the Calvin and Pharrell song was his song, he wrote the writer,
yeah, songwriter, yeah. So. Not on shady shit. That's like what we do here. You know what I'm saying? We write songs and big artists take them and they make them their own. And they fucking, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that happens too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's a lot of ghostwriting and shitty shit too. But
sure.
I don't like to focus on that no more. Like I was mad about all that for a while. I don't like, you know, like, you know what? Buy your fucking, I'm gonna do my shit. Buy your song if you want.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah. So you go to Red Bull Music Academy. You have this amazing experience. You meet not only, you know, your peers who would be your friends and your peers and colleagues for years to come, but also these kind of industry visionaries that you wouldn't have otherwise met.
Benji B, like it was really important for me to meet him, dude. Like I really look up to that dude, like big radio DJ.
Well, and you
like,
ended up being a DJ on BBC Radio 1, right?
Dude, yeah, fuck. Yeah, I forgot that too. Did that too.
That's amazing that you forgot that.
Yeah, shit. That was a great experience, man. That was fucking life-changing too.
Right. No, I mean, that's a huge like resume item. And so you come out of that, you've got an album out, you said you started touring a bit, and this is the first time it's a career. And then how does the Mercy remix with R.L. Grime fit into this picture? Because that's what blew it wide open,
yeah, well,
right?
I think like, quote-unquote trap in the modern electronic form of trap, to me, that was hipster 2.0, in my opinion. All right? So to me, that was what was happening during Hollertronics, Fool's Gold, and fucking Spank Rock, and fucking that era, the first neon era, right? That was the first, when Kanye had the neon shade shit, when he was first fucked with Daft Punk, when A-Track was his DJ, like, that was hipster 1. Hipster 2 is trap, because hipster 2, and the first people I was hearing playing that was like fucking Lol Boys and shit, who were also playing house music in the set, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, the thing was, it was like, oh fuck, trap beat under fucking this song, like, it was the same, it was that same reappropriation. Idea. It was like, okay, like, it was like, okay, obviously fucking, what was his name? Fucking, obviously Lex Luger fucking redid the Fruity Loops drums to be next level right now, so we want that on everything, right? We want that rhythm on fucking everything now, right? So that's what that was, and like, it was fucking the Major Lazer Flosstradamus remix was fucking Don. Every set. It was that, and it was fucking...
That was the first one.
And it's just so fucking weird to me, like, out of everything we said, like, this is the trippy shit to me, is like, that all is old school now. Like, that's... Because that, for me, that was yesterday, for real, you know? And that was like a long time ago at this point, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was like South by Southwest that year, and like, that I say hipster 2.0 because it was like all the cultures converged again. It was like rap and electronic just converged. And that was, like I said, I was doing that already back from Mashup and in San Francisco with the all the you know what I mean? So it was like, I was like, cool.
So it felt like a familiar space.
Yeah, I didn't say like, I'm going to start doing trap now, y'all. It's just like, no, like, I've been doing all this shit. I'm like,
it's almost like the culture caught up to what you were doing in a way.
Sure. And me and everybody else, you know, not just me, but every we were all doing. I think that came from like people starting to do Ableton Live sets, Low End Theory, fucking coming to do you know, everyone was on the MPD pads and shit in LA. So like coming to play that, and I was rocking on that shit. And I was like rocking with the shit. You know what I'm saying? It was beat culture, that shit. DiBiase, 404, fucking Fly Low, and Sam, what's his name? Fucking Sam I Am.
Oh, Sam I Am.
Yeah. So like, you know, so like that shit was like cool. That was like the alternative shit. And then, so it's the same thing. It's just like, that's what I'm saying. All these things it's really the same shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
with
just
different sounds, different
new
names,
styles of reappropriation and homogenization.
Well, sure, but this, to me, this is the moment. Like the Mercy remix, though. R.L. Grime, you, like Kanye, Mercy remix. That's
still unofficial to this day.
That's amazing.
Deleted my SoundCloud account in protest of that shit.
But here's the thing. To me, that's when you and what you were doing broke into the mainstream, right? And so even if it is sort of what you had already been doing, I think it's important to like look at that time for a second.
Oh, I was fucking... I was nothing less than fucking stoked when I saw a video of Diplo playing that song.
Right.
Like, even at that time, this is like shows, I guess it was a long time ago because, like, it wasn't prevalent to see a DJ drop a song on someone's cell phone video. It wasn't that, prevalent. So it was like, fuck, dude, like, when Dylan Francis dropped this, like, oh shit, like at that time, like those guys were already celebs, yo. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's wild. Like those dudes have been in the fucking game. They have been killing it for a minute. You know?
When you and RL made that tune, was there any thought beyond just kind of making a fun remix?
No, not at all. Like obviously not. And obviously,
when you said you had some brushes with Kanye, had you had any brushes with him at that point?
No, I think I'm pretty sure, if I remember this all correctly, I was at Power 106. My wife was training one of the, she's a personal trainer. She was training one of the DJs there.
Oh, wow.
At this time, I was still trying to get in where I fit in anywhere I fucking could. I'll I'll do anything to get in the fucking game. Like I just want, now that I'm a professional, like now it's time to, like I gotta eat, right? So I'm fucking taking every meeting everybody I fucking can in LA.
Yeah.
I was, fucking again, blessings, man. I got to meet Yessie Ortiz and Felly Fell, got close with them over at the station, then ended up meeting the Leakers. That's why I produced rap songs for them later on.
Oh, interesting.
But, it's like this identity conflict. I'm literally like, I can't help myself going to fucking every, like, bro, like, dude, you can't do fucking
saying yes
happy
to every
hardcore.
project.
Dude. No, but like, so I was there. Big Sean was in the studio. They world premiered Mercy on the fucking radio. I was there with like my little brother and sister, and they were fucking blowing their minds. And we were chilling with fucking Big Sean, and he's like, check this song out. And I'm like, literally instantly was like, oh, Dilla sampled that on fucking on J-Lib on Stone's Throw. Dilla sampled that record. I know that sample.
Right.
Went home and flipped that shit immediately. Because I was like, I think that was still like, yo, like, and that's another reason it was like hipster blog 2.0, the trap shit, because it was like, that was like, yo, like remix songs into trap now. Like now you got the whole, like you could remix anything in, like with this beat. You could remix Zombie Nation, Kerncraft with the trap, and people were, and pretty much anyone who did an effective one got to go tour off it. Like
that's the other
you know
part
what I mean?
Of it,
like that was a lot of our contemporary. A lot of people had some, whether it be like a Lana Del Rey remix or a fucking, what have you. You know what I'm saying? Like that helped. That was like a lot of people's careers. And
I never really thought about that, but it was kind of the last era where you could just kind of like flip an old song. And
they killed fucking remix culture, bro. That's
part of it too.
A big gripe I had with SoundCloud was just the whole white papering and everything, because or the whitelisting, because.
Well, talk about that. What does that mean?
Basically,
for the
like
who don't know?
You can get a song approved to live online if you essentially get the rights holder's permission, but it's not a very concrete process, meaning, and they will also take your song down with a DCMA request if you're copyrighted, if you're infringing on someone else's copyrights. But it's not 100% in the system, and it's contradictory.
It's a gatekeeper system.
Yeah.
You have to like know somebody.
Like they pulled down all of EPROM's shit one day,
right?
And that's my fucking dog and one of my favorite artists, and I fucking took offense to that shit. Then they pulled Rinse FM's all their shit down one day, and then they did the fucking Chance the Rapper publicity stunt one day where he saved SoundCloud on Twitter and shout,
SoundCloud,
so. And then I was like, cool, well, like, you know what? I've been paying money to be on this site for the past 5 years. And I was number one on your platform, and me and my contemporaries helped you guys build this fucking thing that you guys are going to go off and sell.
Right.
So I don't fucking like this shit anymore. And now that the digital distribution is involved in here, and I have tracks on my page that I don't want here, I don't fucking like this anymore.
Yeah.
And now that I did 3 official remixes for Rihanna, but they're blocked out because of SoundCloud Go and got no streams and nobody heard them, I don't fucking like this anymore.
Yeah.
So like that for me, it was like, and it was, I think, I lose by not being on SoundCloud, but like I'm involved in some other projects to fucking, I think people are, the fucking revolution's happening with streaming and all this shit anyways, and people are concrete that Spotify will live forever, and I absolutely think it won't, because
nothing lives forever.
No, exactly. And I don't, nothing against them, and they're fucking all great. And that's another thing. Like, you'll go back in my timeline and see, I think I talked shit about Tidal once, and I'm on Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I didn't mean it against them. I just meant streaming services in general. Like, I don't fucking subscribe to, pun intended, I don't subscribe to that fucking idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like the model. I think like Napster freed it up. They fucking litigated them to hell. The major labels were all able to get their stake in the streaming platforms. Spotify was founded on Pirate Bay, on pirated material. That's another, that'll be our 2.0 conversation. We'll go into like the philosophies of fucking music streaming mechanics and shit. But
that's
like,
for the Reddit conspiracy.
But I've been low key like the past couple years. Like, I'm heavily like vested in the future of all that stuff, and I'm like, I care about that shit a lot. And I'm involved in projects that I'll be able to talk about soon. But,
okay, cool.
But anyways, like, so but back to trap and
the Kanye
SoundCloud,
thing, and
you were able to put up that bootleg culture is important to DJing, man.
Yeah.
Like, white label bootleg culture is really fucking important for any genre, dude. Like,
I completely agree.
Like,
completely agree. And so for you, like, this Mercy remix blows up, right? And it's getting played out by all these, whatever, celebrity DJs.
Sure,
we can say
big
it's
DJ,
true.
big DJs.
Big DJs.
Yep.
Was there a thought for you that maybe this is a lane I can get into? Like, can I be one of these big DJs if I go hard on this lane?
For me, it was like, I just wanted more gigs and better gigs and to play festivals, and I was blessed and they came and I got to do them. I got to do EDC Orlando. That was like, I think at the time, like one of the biggest. See, that was like, I was like, oh shit, like EDM culture. Like, what? Like, I didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's like, so I consider EDM culture, quote unquote, rave 2.0. Because that's like, that was what I experienced back then. But now it's become corporate, this and that. But like, early Hardfest, that shit was dope. That was special. A lot of that in its own right. All these eras have their fucking,
there was no
you know what I'm
roadmap
saying?
for it at the time.
And
but my question for you is like, did that success and that that open window, did it change what you were doing?
Yes,
did you try to like get in on it?
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, I tried to pander to that unsuccessfully in the studio for fucking years, because I wanted to recreate, like, that was I'll probably never experience that again, and that's okay, but like, the feeling of just uploading that to SoundCloud, 'cause I fucking love SoundCloud. I uploaded it to SoundCloud, and talk about dopamine rush. My Twitter didn't stop blowing up for a fucking year because the Twitter algorithm to SoundCloud, see, that a lot of things change in tech. Like, at that time, if you liked something, everyone had the Twitter thing turned on.
Yeah.
All that stuff has been locked down by all the platforms, and like the sharing mechanisms, no one wants you going off platform. Like,
that's true,
so
too.
basically, like, that was such a fucking glorious thing, because it was like, just put it up on SoundCloud. I don't even think I fucking asked RL, dude. Like,
really?
I'm like, this is done. I'm like, we put it up, and like, because we were, I'm just like, it wasn't like no managers were talking to each other about the rollout, dude. It was just like, we did this, and that was great, and fucking. He followed it up close with the EP, which was I was on, and a couple things in that lane, and fucking went.
I mean, he was on fire. Still on fire.
Yeah,
but like back then it was crazy.
Went left field and did Odd Furniture, which was like, a lot of like homies' favorite record of mine that I have, because it's like,
that was the second album, right?
It's an EP, but it's like
okay.
There was a few in between there, but like, it was like it had the song "Drop That B" on it, which was basically trap, but like just kind of very West Coasty, like Eazy-E versus whatever the hell, and like, you know, absolutely, obviously not anywhere near the same response, but like in the streams, like to nowadays standards, like probably 20 million streams on it, even on that song, you know what I'm saying? Mercy remix on SoundCloud was at like 700 million or 500 million streams or some shit. Like,
do you know if Kanye ever heard it?
He did, and like I know he heard my remix of R.L. Grime Grapes. Because someone got through the grapevine that like Kanye fucked with it, and I tried hard to fucking get it. That was the dream, bro. It was like to fuck with you know what I'm saying? Like,
of course.
But I got actually what I wanted out of it, which was to last year I went to Mike Dean's house, so like that was just as good for me. That was probably better, you know what I'm saying? Because like Mike Dean's just like what I look at my future self in the future. He's got the fucking like dope house with the modular rig studio, like on like a lifted floor in his studio. Everything's perfect, and he's got like the fucking Moog modular setup, and he smokes blunts all day, and like
sounds about right.
It's fucking great. So it like works with all the biggest rappers. So.
Right.
But yeah, like.
So what happened in the sense of like you were trying to sort of cater to this EDM audience, but it wasn't connecting in the right way? Where does it go from there? Because I know you started putting out a bunch of mixtapes. Like, is that when the rap and the pop phase happened?
That was like cool. Like I've also like, I'm pretty much just realizing this like lately and like saying this now, but like I run from fucking trends.
Just instinctually.
I can't help it. I don't like as soon as it's too much, I just don't fucking like it anymore. I don't know, maybe it's a fucking sickness, dude. Like I don't know. Like
even when it would help you to stay there.
When Astroworld came out, Travis Scott, when I got to listen to it by myself without any bias, I fucking loved it and bumped it. But now it's just overplayedness, dude. You know what I'm saying? And, like I don't want to hear Sicko Mode anymore, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all good.
Like,
no, you know what I mean? Like
I know
it's just not even on some shit. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like I don't want to hear trap anymore. Like fucking everyone's doing it. Like, so I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
You know, that's my thing. So, you know, for better or for worse, that's what it is, dude.
Right. But so how did it work? Like, you know, you got into the mixtape game. You started working with all these rappers.
Yeah.
Like, was that through Rock Nation? Like, how did that come about?
No, I wasn't with Rock yet. That was a lot through. So Red Bull, aside from Red Bull Music Academy, I got to meet a lot of Red Bull people, and it's fucking great how they subsidize art. They're probably one of the biggest corporations to kind of pave the way for that, right?
1,000%.
So, and they still do to this day with club nights, and it's great how it's like really underground shit too that needs the help. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed the help. I didn't have like a fucking white dude, like what the fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? No one who wants to get in the studio with me, you know what I'm saying? But like they helped me connect with E40 and with fucking all these people.
That's
and
amazing,
like,
actually.
And like, so I linked with Corrupt, who was like my favorite rapper in Dog Pound, like I said, like West Coast. Me and him end up becoming like homies, and like he starts bringing me to sessions to be a writer with him because like he didn't know how to rap over trap beats because he doesn't come for that shit. So I was like kind of writing songs with him. I wrote a song on like Schoolboy's album with him, on Schoolboy's first album. Cool writing credits now. Oh shit, like LA studio life.
So that
LA studio life sucked me the fuck into that shit.
Because that's a whole other world.
Whole different world. Yeah, whole different world.
And was it refreshing at the time to kind
of
be like?
I loved. You know, going from solo making music on the laptop, I loved collaborating. I loved being in these studios for the first time. I loved going to Westlake and all these fancy studios.
Right.
I was like, fuck, this is
and
it.
Being on a team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you find out that you actually enjoyed that?
I did. I loved it.
Coming from a solo perspective.
Yeah, I loved all that, and I liked making something greater than I could by myself, and just the prospect of. Fuck, man, vocal engineering and vocal production in itself, like
that's an art form.
Like Rihanna's guy is Ku Carell, who's fucking like I look up to him on the vocal production and shit, and like that's a whole. He doesn't make beat, like he just does
vocal production,
because it's if you're in on a session like that, like you're looking in your DAW and it literally is 100 tracks of vocals sometimes, or like an Adele song's probably who knows how many tracks of vocals and how much they got going on in her vocal, so that art form, and then like I said, Robin Hannibal and him, and working with him and. Working with like Yuna, who's a big R&B singer in Malaysia. She's like number one there. And like JoJo at Atlantic and all these different like pop stuff. And it was great, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was all great. And then...
Well, I'm curious about the ego side of it too. To go from like, Salva, the artist, the performer on stage to then being
I was doing both. I was still doing both at the time. Yeah. But well, my thing was like, I was watching Diplo do this shit. And, unbeknownst to me, like I still don't have a creative team. I still don't have, and I don't think there's obviously any shame in it. Mike Will's got 10 guys under him. Like, you want to be a fucking super producer, you got to have the dogs underneath you, bro. Like there's no way humanly possible you can have a discography of 300 songs in a year and do 200 tour dates. Like, you can't
I mean,
do that,
I think
a
lot of people, I don't even think that's a secret anymore in
of course
2019.
not.
Like, pretty much, I'm just
do it. I mean, Drake,
I'm just going to say, like,
every,
most big DJs in the world, of course,
especially
they have a
pop crossover act. You're doing it like,
I mean, they're pop acts in a way. It's like they have a team of people. Of course, they don't have time to literally write and produce every single song that's coming out. It's just impossible. I don't think that's a crazy thing to put out there.
Not at all. I wanted it, man. I just never. For me, it's always more work to fucking have someone in. It's like I just want to do it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I tried having interns and shit. Man, I don't know. It just everyone was great. I've always worked with too. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm a control freak, but I just feel like it's easier to myself. I like doing it. I don't fucking know. I just like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I like doing this shit.
Right. And I think that's fair, man.
That's why I do this is like, I like making beats and I like playing chords and I like recording people and I like fucking doing the shit.
Yeah, you just like it all, man. I love that. And so,
nerd.
And so, nerd. Like, okay, so, you got writing credits on Schoolboy Q. You're working with pop stars, people from different walks of life. How does it, I still don't understand or know how you got hooked up with Rock Nation. Is that connected or is that a totally separate thing?
Rihanna writing camp. I went to a Rihanna writing camp.
How did you even get in that?
They called me, I think one of the A&Rs like looked who was playing Hardfest one year and brought like me and Carmack and fucking Bauer and a bunch of.
It was all you guys.
Yeah, they like brought us all in.
What
and
was
like
that scene like?
I wasn't there with them.
Okay.
Like I was there. Yeah, I was. But I met like Tierra Thomas, who had a song with Wale called "Bad" a couple years ago, and like a couple other writers there that we ended up like getting Rihanna to take some of my songs and like play that whole game, like get in with Rock Nation and start fucking with them. And that's how.
Do you have Rihanna credits? Like,
not out.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jubilee always says, Jubilee always says, like, don't get Rihanna. Like, you just got Rihanna. Yeah. Like, waiting around for 10 years. Hopefully she releases my track.
Right. Yeah.
No, but like, I've done a few writing camps with Ree, and like, they're fucking, like, that's, another blessing just to even get to fucking meet her and fucking meet
what
these
was
people.
That like?
She's fucking super chill, man.
Yeah.
She's just like, I don't know, she remembered me and gave me a hug, so I'm good. Like, I'm straight. like the fact, I
mean, what is she like in the studio? What's it like trying to write a song?
Chill vibes, dude. It's just, when she does camps, it's like 10 rooms. So you'll see like, I'm leaving and like Party Next Door will be showing up at 5 a.m, or like Travis will be there, and like I don't even like usually, I'm not a fucking
you're not
star
hanging with everybody,
so I'm not trying to fucking.
Yeah.
But like it's always the dopest fucking people they can find. Like one person who's always at those with me was Sophie. So I was like,
oh wow,
it's like all these worlds colliding. It's fucking beautiful, man. That, to me, like that's just what this is all about. No boundaries, great expression, and fucking kill it. You know what I'm saying?
People don't always realize that, for those big pop star, especially the writing camp kind of thing you're talking about, a lot of interesting underground people will be brought in on those that you never hear about in the final product.
Well, there's the wealth of... One big thing I took away from being in LA in the pop scene, like the wealth of incredible talent that are considered quote unquote writers and not quote unquote artists by the industry, meaning they don't release these songs. Like the wealth of talent is that in pop music, in my opinion, the talent is there, not what's released. Like because you talk about gatekeepers, like whether it be the powers that be, the scene, the style, whatever it is, like the amount of fucking amazing material that some of these I've met. Probably hundreds of songwriters, you know what I'm saying? Like their best music never comes out.
Right.
It just doesn't end up making it out there.
Right.
And they're not quote unquote artists, meaning they're the real artists, but they're not considered quote unquote artists by the scene, meaning press cycles doing shows up there, social media.
They're not the face of it.
They're not the face of the brand, right? So that's where all the fucking dope pop shit and like R&B is. It's on people's hard drive. That's why I tweeted something once that like the best artwork is like the little Dropbox, like the little guy dancing on Dropbox. Like that's where all the heat is.
Well,
dude.
And that's why when the few times when the writers do step out and become the stars themselves, I think about like somebody like Sia or somebody like even Bibi Borelli, like that.
She's fucking raw.
Yeah,
I worked with her once. She is BB Borelli's raw talent. Dude.
Yeah,
It's
man.
fucking dope,
I've
dude.
known about her for a long time, and I've always been a fan. And it's that kind of pop music that I think people wonder, like, oh, this is like a new, fresh take. And I love that what you're saying. It's like it's always been there. It's just that's the stuff that doesn't get out that much, because by the end of it, you know, if it's for Rihanna, or if it's for Beyonce,
I've had
whatever, like it's
yeah.
a product,
Of
right?
course.
So it gets
it's a different.
It gets
it's a whole
A&R.
different fucking
It
thing,
needs
dude.
to be
yeah,
sleek.
it's a different
It
whole.
needs to fit in the whole mold.
It's
of
like
it.
making a movie, dude. Like
Yeah,
it's like
right,
shooting
right.
the Instagram flick with the homies, or fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you could
You and J.J.
still do
Abrams.
it. Yeah, you do something still just as artistic. It's just a different form, you know?
Yeah, man. So, okay, and then the Rock Nation Connect comes out of that Rihanna camp.
So I linked with them. I like them a lot, and I kind of moved around managements and agents to my own detriment as well, navigating this fucking scene. Like I said, you know, I fucking it's hard, man. Just the ego thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like letting my ego be bruised by things that don't involve the art form. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Like,
all the other
why
stuff.
does this person get this thing and I don't have this?
It's just like you finally got to stop. You got to make sure you don't go there, because there's nothing. I mean, because it's and you know, that's the thing of, you know, that's what's humbling about fucking just being a real person and being out in public sometimes. Is like people have fucking disabilities. People have. The Uber driver the other day was telling me in New York, like he was referring to him and the people in the car with him as rich. Because he's from fucking Jakarta, and like, yeah, he's like, you know, we're all rich, and it's like true.
Right.
Like you and I, we're fucking rich,
Yes,
right? You know
yes,
what I'm saying?
yes,
So it's like
yes.
in the fucking world scope,
Yeah.
right? But I'm sitting here, I'm like, but I don't got the Phantom with the fucking boom boom.
Yeah,
I don't got the
right.
fucking. I'm not on the PJ.
It's
like
never
I
enough.
had to take Southwest to my Vegas gig.
Right.
So like, oh man, you know what I mean? But like, so, and I think, you know, and I think that like goes back to wrap it back around to Kanye, is that like, I've learned that like that's what obsessive amounts of fame does to everybody I've ever seen in my life, from MJ to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you take steps back to like Bieber had, you visibly, even the fact that I like know this, you know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
like the whole fame game. Like
Right.
I don't have a choice to know about Bieber's fucking personality.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this shit gets fed to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's why I try not to even be biased against these individuals. As much as I'm a fucking crusader for like cool music and good art and fucking whatever, it's like, man, all those people, I don't know. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, I'm tired of like, I don't even got energy to fucking hate on shit. Like if something's too pop for me or too fucking corny for me, like let it be. Like,
well, so
you know
this
what I
is-
mean? Like
that's interesting though, is like, you know, you said earlier you figured out about yourself that you run away from trends and you avoid that. But then here you are working on these pop records,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Like was that like a cognitive dissonance moment?
Yeah, my thing was in my head at the time, I said, I'll do a dope record with fucking Pitbull, with the whoever is everyone's most hated. I love Pitbull's music. by the
So
way.
it's almost subversive.
Yeah,
for
I'm like,
you.
oh, like you don't. It was backwards. It's like, oh, you're underground, like fucking electronic music. Like I'm making pop now, and I'm
Right.
making rap now. Like y'all on that wave. Like I don't even DJ at the fucking EDM part. Like I don't even play that shit no more. Now that was me
Right.
in my head.
No,
you know,
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Now
It's
I'm on.
subversive
Now I'm
for
on this, and it's
you.
funny because everybody not that they followed me, but it's just like the It's like it was like the logical progression. Like everyone got burnt out on the EDM oversaturation. There's too many shows, too many festivals.
Yep.
So all the middle guys got squashed out.
Yep.
And like and a lot of them in LA started making pop records and started donating their time and talents to that, which is fucking dope. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And a lot of them are still on that. You know, like I said, Kenny Beats, fucking rap god now. You know what I'm saying? Gave him my
Right.
old studio there, and he was in Loud Pack, and I didn't even, know the thing of it. I didn't like that scene for sure. For me, it was like, now it's too abrasive. Now it's too dubsteppy for me.
Right.
Now I don't like that anymore.
Right. It doesn't
For
represent
me,
your culture
yeah,
again.
it does, or I mean, it can. I just, for me, I just like, I don't want to play that.
Right.
Because he, even Kenny at the time was like, bro, just like make a fucking banger and come play these shows. And I'm like, I'm just like, I'd rather record these rap songs. Right. Brodinski, I'm like trying to make a techno group with him. Like, come on, bro, come back techno. And he loves the rap. Like, he just fucking loves being in Atlanta working with.
I know.
He's same shit. Is like he's running from the fucking and you see Gestafelstein with Weekend and all the fucking haters online.
I have
and
seen
like
that.
and I get it because it's like Brody was like, yeah, I don't want to play the fucking fashion techno game in Paris right now. It's not my scene anymore or whatever the fuck. And
I mean,
so,
it's funny you bring up Brodinski because to me, he's the closest to you
he is.
that I can think
No, we're
of.
like he's like my French brother,
in the
bro.
scene,
I love that
you know, because
motherfucker,
he's
man.
another one where he's like mixing together all these weird styles, but doing it in the way that he wants to. Like he is not catering to anybody's
unapologetic. That's like the
scene.
French way, man. It's like unapologetic.
And like I had him on the show, and it was one of my favorite episodes we've
he
done.
did BBC. That's like my French. He's my long lost brother, and Jubilee is my fucking long lost sister. Separated birth. We have like the same DJ crates and the same fucking influences, and we
I
do all
love
this
it, man. I love it. And yeah, just the way he was talking about it too. It was like he was following something inside of himself, you know, more than anything else.
He's the best.
He is the best, man. I love
I've
what
always
he's doing
been
now too.
influenced by him, and back to Ed Bang, all that shit, all French, all Parisian, Techie, Para One, fucking all those motherfuckers, man. They all huge, all fucking legends.
Yeah.
Love all those guys.
So to bring it back to you, I mean, you signed with Rock Nation for management. Does that open up a lot of new opportunities?
I did a lot.
What was that like?
It was I don't think at the time it was like, I just wanted to. I mean, I think I was already over I did the Rihanna sessions already, which was like fucking surreal and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like being at these mansions and shit with her and shit.
I'm
and
sure
like,
you just more of that.
But it was
been
just
dope,
it was
sure.
it was dope because like I said, like Sophie was there. I'm like, all right, well, like this is all good. And like at the time, I don't think they're there anymore at the company, but like it was like. One of the managers had Sophie and Matthew Deere and Haim, and there's like, and Grimes was there, and there's like a lot of cool, those kind of artists. Dude, I got to go play, I played right after Beyonce at Tidal X at Barclays Center sold out with Jay-Z standing there. So it was like, these were, it's like, I feel like Benjamin Button or some shit right now, where it's like I'm recalling all this shit. It's like,
I mean, that's crazy.
Well, it was just it's surreal. It's like I shouldn't have lived all these lives. Like,
but I mean,
conflict of fucking.
What
you
were
know,
you
like,
doing? Okay, so this is a question. I mean, I know you've I didn't know you did that show, but I know you've done a lot of pop shows, and I want to talk about the Shakira tour
Made
too.
in America and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you did Made in America. Like, what? How did you change your performance for that? You know, if you're playing after Beyonce, like that's a different crowd.
I was always a fucking party rocker, so like I could still pull up. Like I could fucking play for any. You know, that's like the DJ side of me, right?
Yeah.
Like the party rock side, right? Like, you know, I played before like Zed at a festival, or like Dylan, or I played with fucking Mala, DMZ, or fucking Scuba, or I toured with Ramadan Man, and I toured with Shakira, and fucking. I'm just able to pull
range,
the
man.
Shakira thing. I played. It was my excuse to like fuck with all the dope reggaeton and fucking dancehall edits, and so I fucking went in and found all the cool edits and made a bunch of edits of all the fire shit, and like did my little like hot mix routine and fucking played. You know what I mean? Like I'll drop Drake for 16 bars, but then spin back into some weird shit, or drop some like. You know, like...
Well, how much weird shit are you able to get away with? I guess I'm curious about that.
On that tour, that was like... I did like 50 or 60 cities with her. Yeah. All sold out stadiums.
And in Europe too, right?
Half Europe, half in the States and Canada. I played like every basketball stadium in the U.S.
Was that through Rock Nation that happened?
Yeah, she's rep by Jay. So
that Did you know her beforehand?
No.
Like, that's just crazy that,
they
like...
They pitched me, like, so that's kind of like... So at Rock, I've been this jack of all trades guy. I've produced, like, Portuguese, Brazilian artists over there.
Oh, wow.
I've done remixes for all their artists, Rihanna and Justine Skye, and I've cut demos for Korn. And, like, so this was, like...
Shit.
Being at Rock was fully, like, fully realized, like... Jack of all trades, pop producer, remixer, DJ guy, and I fuck with everybody over there. Rock Latin, the rock shit, the rock and roll shit,
and
the
they
fucking
just
electronic
know
shit.
They can throw whatever.
Well, they throw
you.
whatever's coming, and I fucking do the work, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like been my bread and butter over there. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm like bringing some more like underground people back. I'm like really interested in all the fucking gear again, and want to start playing live again. You know, like I said, the ebb and flow, man. Like I'm done saying I quit doing anything because I'm never done. Like you know what I'm saying? It's never over, dude. Like you know what I mean? So.
So yeah, man, doing the arenas with Shakira and all that, that's
good practice. It was like for me, it was like the best practice ever. Dude.
Really?
It was like, well, now I'm like, I'll probably never have stage fright. I think I finally like knocked the stage fright like fully out of me, dude. Because like after 10 arenas in a row, I was like, cool. Now it's just like a LED screen in front of me with a fake crowd. It doesn't matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was cool because like they weren't there for me. I was just like warming them up. So it was like, you know what I mean? Like
it's in a way, it takes the pressure off. Even though there's a lot of people in like a high pressure environment. You're just there to make everyone have a good time.
Yeah.
It was
great.
Much
she was nice. I became best friends with her band, who are all, you know, everyone's got their own stories. Like one of the keyboard player, Albert, was like OG Masters at Work keyboard player. You know what I'm saying? It's like everyone's always got their lineage, and it's like everything's fucking connected, man.
Did you
so
get to hang out with Shakira a little bit?
Yeah, she's super chill, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always liked her.
Yeah, she's
out of like all
cool.
the pop
She had her
people,
kids and shit
her.
on tour with her and shit, and fucking it was chill, man.
That's wild,
it was
man.
Great experience.
Is that the kind of thing you'd want to do more of? Or
I mean, fuck, man. Any big pop star want me to open the fucking arena, I'll do it. It's honestly, it's like I enjoy like I guess that's another thing I'm realizing. Like I run from trends, and I enjoy challenges and things that are outside of my comfort zone. Like I pretty much like thrive off that at this point. But what I'm trying to do this year is like get back to my comfort zone, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is because it's all this shit.
Is it about getting back?
I want to release music. I just want to release more Salva music, albeit I don't give a fuck if it gets 100 plays or 1,000,000 fucking plays. I was playing the game of like I needed to be I have the good features. I was playing I had the Young Thug Old English track, which was like that one helped me a lot in the industry. That was like I think that was like Young Thug's highest stream song on Spotify for a really long time.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his number one. So like, you know, I got a great portfolio of all that, the productions and the fucking all that shit, and like I'm just back in the flow of like I want to flip all that shit on its head. Do what's like I want to just break the rules again and fucking ultimate dream is being like a Radiohead or Björk. I feel like I'm halfway to my goal. I'm like halfway to Picasso, dude. Like I'm halfway there. Like I got another 20 years and I'm gonna be fully. Like, that's my new mind state. It's like I'm not fully realized for another 20 years. Like Jiro's Sushi or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's an amazing way to look at it because I have to imagine. You know, at certain point you even mentioned like certain points you would be frustrated with like where you were at or like maybe you couldn't see the vision of where it was going or focus in on one thing. But if you look at it as like this is a project for your entire life, you know, that's kind of amazing.
That helped me mentally a lot because I was feeling like old for a while in my early 30s, and that's so fucking funny in hindsight. It's like I was like, well, I can't DJ forever, you know, like I'm gonna have to move into this fucking other shit. It's like, oh, dude, like the best techno house DJs are old men. Like
it's true, it's true. Well, and the fans of the music are growing up at the same rate you are.
It's beautiful, man. Like I just love that, and I just love like, you know, I think like I said, the EDM oversaturation had its thing, but it's all reorienting itself right now. Like I think there's cool underground shit happening again. That's for more my more mature palate, and I think like. There's plenty of everything, and I think I think this is going to be a great year, and like I think a cultural renaissance is also happening. You know what I'm saying? Like all around, I think like we're going to see some like cool things happen in music in general, and there always are. And
yeah, it's about time. I think you're right. It's about time. I get that sense from people. And for you, I mean, in this whole conversation, like you've always dabbled in different styles and scenes. We've talked about the fact that you just loved it all kind of equally. Like where do you see yourself fitting in 2019? Like, do you feel like you're a part of any one scene or style in particular?
I think like I will start, like I put out like the Anarchist Bandcamp only drop last week. I put out a one song.
I saw that actually.
A one song deal. My goal was like, just do shit. Like I had Jubilee's party coming up, and I'm like, I'm gonna drop this song and do the artwork for it and mix and master it and get it all done. One song, one nice DJ club tune, nothing too fancy, no feature, little acid tune. I made it
I really like that tune. Actually,
it's a cool. It's a club weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like back, cause everything was so like, all right, song structure, pop music, feature. It's like cool. This is like. Something good. I'm not trying to break the fucking mold.
Right.
Something I like. I haven't really heard anybody do a Be More song and an acid song together really before. And I executed it, and I got a couple hundred sales on it for the first day. Like, cool. And I went and played it out at my DJ set, and I was like, this is fucking great. More of the thing of like executing, not needing any cycle. I didn't even tell my managers I was doing. You know what I mean? Like this is just my little thing for me.
Right.
No playlist, not on streaming, and I felt fucking happy about it for whatever reason. So I'm gonna keep dropping little one-off bangers. I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna sign with somebody. Do something more substantial album and shit, and like keep dropping records, man. Try to drop as much cool shit as I can, and I think like I'm really into like broken beat. Dance music of all varieties and straight beat alike. Like definitely like come out with the Techno Alias proper this year. I literally got like 20 tracks, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
and are you still doing the pop stuff as well?
A little bit. I just cooled off on it a little bit right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to like if a pop artist wants to fucking holler and do fucking off the wall, like let's let's go left field, like holler, dude. But that's where my head's at right now. I'm just like want to do cool shit, but definitely like I want to make bangers again and like make sound system music again and like play on clubs and play clubs again and fucking.
Do you like being on the road, the tour life?
Yeah, I like it. I love playing in great rooms and great sound systems and great vibe. Like if more people can get the aesthetic right. I don't like theaters that much for me. Like if I had my whole own production and I got to tailor it, that would be different. But like, you know, like theaters opening for someone, not getting the full sound, not getting the lighting rig, like that's all right. That's work kind of to me. And I still enjoy that. But but nightclubs, like the, you know, like fucking Smart Bar, like all day and fucking, you know, the Mid's closing. Unfortunately, I really like that club.
Yeah, I like the Mid too.
All the fucking dope clubs, you know, but hopefully new ones will, you know,
Beta's closing.
Output.
It's fucking crazy.
Mezzanine.
Yeah.
Crucial.
Foundation in Seattle got shut down. Although they were kind of, that was a drug thing.
I like Q. I do Q up in Seattle. That's the bomb. That shit, like, dude, I'd play in a club like that every fucking night of the week all year. I'd be happy. Like that's no stress to me. I just love that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I do too, man. I do too. It feels like home to me.
That's honestly like my preferred. Like I love playing in front of a lot of, like I said with the Shakira shit, like playing in front of 20,000 people is exhilarating. But like my honest to God favorite is probably like 500 people in a great sound, 500 to 1,000 in a great sounding room.
Right.
Where I'm not like on a stage.
Yeah.
That is my favorite place to do, like favorite kind of, you know, environment to DJ.
Well, and to bring it all the way back around, when we started this conversation, we were talking about, you know, the branding of it and the social media and all the other extra shit. Is that something you're going to like, do you have an idea for how to handle that now that you're coming back to it?
I'm trying to, I mean, dude, like literally like, it's sad because like if you scroll down my Insta, you can go like to a year back with only like 2 swipes because I really was never that frequent of a poster, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't post every day anymore. I just, for me, I figured out like I took away the pressure of feeling like I had to. And now when I do want to post and I do feel like I have something cool to put up, I actually see way better engagement with it every single time. And I'm cool with that, man. Like I don't need to be the guy who's in everybody's face every day. It's just not my personality anyway.
What I've been doing is like, just taking little videos of me playing with the Modular lately, and they get great views, and I just do that. You know, I'm doing that. Like I said, I do like the 3D render art. I put up my little art, my visuals. That's like, you know, kind of my
like
hobbyist shit. It's just I love it. You know what I'm saying? So like, do my own show visuals and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that and I just want to fucking man, just dope music. I just want to take it back to the fucking like play shows, throw shows, fucking do shit. Like, I think a lot of us didn't carry the torch because we're touring the world and didn't carry the torch locally as we could have maybe. Like I was like, I never want to throw a party again, like too much fucking stress.
It's the worst job,
But it's important, yo. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like Jubilee worked really hard this last weekend and elsewhere. It was like a really special fucking night, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just because like she curated it and cared about it, you know?
Jubilee I think is a great example of, she's been throwing parties and sort of curating this kind of stuff for years. And I think for a long time, probably she didn't see a huge return off of it, but to me that
probably
was
still don't. She might have lost money the other fucking night for all I know, but it's still important, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll lose money.
Yes, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I agree, but I'm saying I think in the long game it did pay off for her.
Yeah.
Like because
she tours the world off. Still, I mean, like her brand in general.
And
you
people's perception now is of her as a tastemaker, and that doesn't happen overnight.
Sure.
You know, like you have to whatever it is, lose some money or like spend a lot of energy.
One way or another. Yeah,
one way or another, man. I don't know. And I don't know, man. I mean, I think people have that perception of you too, but I love talking about how people sort of conceptualize getting to those points. I don't know, man. This has been great.
Yeah, I hope I didn't rant. I don't know if it was boring or what.
No, fuck that. I mean, I was about to say we could keep going, but like, is there anything else other than that we haven't covered that you want to get out there, shit people should watch for?
I was going to tell you at the beginning that I don't even want to talk about my history because I feel like vain even by going like talking about my fucking past.
This is all about that, baby.
But I just want to say appreciate you having me on, man. Like, you know, I've been listening and fucking another very important thing, man. Just fucking the education and the spreading of the fucking culture, because it's so vast. Like, how many fucking things can you Google that we talked about today, dude? If you don't know about these things, and like, I don't know fucking anything. Like, I'm just one little, you know what I mean? Like I've just had my fucking my road. Like, there's a lot of, I can't tell you how many times some like house legend is like, they're like, oh, you don't know, but I'm like, oh shit, there's like a 40-year veteran DJ that I literally hadn't heard of, and they're fucking like a legend, you know?
No,
So anyways.
Even doing these episodes, man, I never know where to start with people, because even just how do you tell somebody's story? It's crazy. Everybody's had, you know.
I was like in the Chemical or the
Crystal Method?
Crystal Method, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really
fucking
fun.
dope. Like, yeah.
And he was one where I was like, I don't know where to start.
This show's dope. It was like, yeah, we liked fucking New Order and we liked fucking this music, so we were like, all right, we'll move to LA and fucking
Yeah. It was so like matter of fact.
But no, man, yeah. Final message is fucking positivity and fucking be a part of the creative renaissance this year and just make great shit you love and fucking spread the love and fucking be happy and fucking support each other and fucking fuck with everything and don't spend time fucking hating on shit. Just fuck with what you love. And
Amen. I couldn't have said it better. All right, I'm going to ask you the question I ask at the end of every episode, which is just simple. First thing that comes to your mind off the top of your head question. Just a time in your life, and it could be recently or it could be from when you were a kid, when in a moment, music really had a deep effect on you. And that could be something as simple as just like gave you goosebumps or like made you happy or changed the way you thought about something or even just tied to an important moment in your life. And just the first thing that pops into your head, it doesn't have to be significant.
I think, I mean, not to be beat this over the head, but like just recently this modular like Euro rack, modular synth kind of fucking thing I'm getting into. I've had honestly like almost like euphoric experiences with it, with messing with stuff. Like I've been like,
why is that, do you think?
Because I've been going in, it's like meditative. I've been like going into these like meditative holes while I'm playing with this shit, and I record it all and like, but it's not even about like making a song. It's like literally just fucking freestyling on this shit. And I literally like will sweat. Like I'll literally go into, I'll do it for a half hour and fucking, it's like meditative, man. It's honestly been like, I think I'm unlocking the same things as like mindfulness meditation, because I'm like not thinking, or sex, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm locking into that zone. So like that's, I honestly, it's become my fucking therapeutic place. So it's like, aside from like creating the music with it, like I've been just having these synth jam outs and fucking, it's spiritual almost, dude.
That's
like
amazing.
shout out to homie Nick Cook, because he's always on the spiritual fucking shit. You gotta have him on here.
Do you think it's like because it's a physical thing and you have to physically make those connections?
I'm
like,
on some
why
fucking,
is that?
I'm on some fucking, it's like, you know, we're literally made of vibrations, dude. Like subatomically, we're all fucking vibrating. Yeah. We're all oscillating. The world is oscillating. Like it's fucking, like, not to be too hippie, but it's like
that's the
universe
next
is
for sure.
The universe is fucking, it's literally comprised of all the fucking same things, and like electricity directly being converted to sound with analog gear is always what was alluring to me. And you could hear that, like they say, you could tell a difference, and you could argue with that, and like you could emulate it as much as you want, but it's like you're converting voltage into fucking sound. And then I just go in these holes. I was like synthesizing. It sounded like a campfire, like resampling.
Really?
And it sounded like I was literally having like hot flashes because I couldn't believe what was happening. For like, I was synthesizing things that weren't supposed to be happening with this like resampling, and I was like, holy fuck. And it was great. It was some like fucking hippie spiritual shit. Man. So
I love that.
That's my moment.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like back to the roots, right? Of like where this music all came from. And maybe there's something to that spiritually as well.
Dude, it's frequent. Dude, like this, I forget what the test is. It's like the sand on the water, and they resonated with different frequencies, and the sand makes geometric shapes. Right. Dude. Like that's a real phenomenon, dude. Yeah. So like, I don't know, man, there's mystical geometrical properties in the music. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We don't have time to get into that. But man, I love that we ended it there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Peace. All right, that's the show. Shout out to Salva. Had a blast sitting down with you, man. That was so much fun. For everybody out there listening, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did making it. Cannot believe we're almost to 100 episodes. Thank you. If you're listening right now, if you made it all this way, that means you're a real supporter, and I appreciate you. We're almost to 100 episodes. It's fucking crazy. So I hope everybody out there is doing well. I hope you have a great week. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you. And I will talk to you next Tuesday. For Back to Back, this is Willie Joy. Peace.